In a world shaped by nature and time, hidden creatures move silently through forests, oceans, and open lands. Observed like wildlife, guided by instinct. This is how Pokémon would truly exist, if they lived in our world. Chikorita lifts its leaf toward the warm breeze, standing peacefully in the sunlit meadow. Bayleaf moves along the forest edge, releasing a gentle herbal mist from the buds around its neck. Meganium fills the clearing with a soothing glow, its petals radiating a calming energy. Cyndaquil curls beside the rocks, small flames flickering softly along its back. Quilava guards the cave entrance, blue and red flames streaming steadily along its body. Typhlosion rises as a ring of fire erupts around its collar, heat shimmering in the air behind it. Totodile splashes playfully at the riverbank, snapping at the water with cheerful bursts of energy. Crokinole waits silently beneath the reeds, only its eyes visible above the still water. Feraligatr emerges heavily from the river, releasing a deep rumble as water streams off its scales. Sentret stands upright on its tail, scanning the open field with alert, cautious eyes. Burret weaves through the tall grass with fluid motion, pausing alertly atop a small rock. Hoothoot balances on one leg as twilight settles, blinking slowly in the fading light. Noctowl glides silently through the trees, its sharp eyes scanning the forest floor below. Ladybird clings beneath a dew-covered leaf, its shell glistening softly in the morning sun. Ledian hovers near glowing forest mushrooms, its wings beating in a rapid, rhythmic pattern. Spinarak steps across its dew-lined web, each thread vibrating gently beneath its weight. Ariado stands poised on a thick branch, its markings glowing faintly under the moonlight. Crobat darts through the cavern, its four wings moving in perfect, silent coordination. Chinchu floats near the coral reef, its glowing bulbs lighting the drifting plankton around it. Lantern glides through deeper waters, its bioluminescent orb casting a calm blue light across the ocean floor. Pichu plays in the wildflowers, tiny sparks crackling softly around its small body. Cleffa sits beneath the night sky, its round eyes reflecting the shimmering starlight. Igglybuff bounces gently across the mossy ground, its soft body wobbling with each step. Togepi peeks from the safety of its patterned shell, listening calmly to the forest around it. Togetic hovers above the riverbank, its delicate wings keeping it afloat with quiet grace. Natu tilts its head in sharp bird-like motions, studying every insect that passes by. Xatu stands motionless on the cliff edge, gazing toward the horizon as clouds drift past. Mareep grazes peacefully, the wool around its body glowing faintly with stored electricity. Fluffy adjusts its stance as static flickers through its pink wool and glowing tail orb. Ampharos shines like a beacon from the rocky coast, its light sweeping across the waves below. Blossom sways in the clearing, its flower petals moving gently with the forest breeze. Marill sits by the river's edge, its round blue body reflected softly in the water. Azumarill wades through the shallows, ears raised as it listens beneath the surface. Sudowoodo stands perfectly still by the path, almost indistinguishable from a small tree. Politoed calls from the pond rock, its deep croak echoing across the wetlands. Hoppip drifts above the grass, its tiny body lifted effortlessly by the passing breeze. Skiploom hovers over the flowers, its petal fringe swaying with each subtle gust of air. Jumpluff floats high in the sky, carried calmly by the wind on its cotton-like puffs. Apom hangs from the branch by its tail, swinging playfully as it watches the forest below. Sunkern rests quietly in the soil, trembling softly as the breeze moves through the field. Sunflora turns toward the rising sun, its bright petals opening to greet the morning light. Yanma hovers over the pond, its rapid wings stirring ripples across the surface. Whooper waddles through the mud, tilting its head curiously as water streams beside it. Quagsire relaxes in the lake, drifting calmly as fish swim around its round body. Espeon rests on a warm stone, its forehead gem glowing softly in the midday sun. Umbreon moves silently under the moon, its yellow rings pulsing with faint light. Murkrow perches on a branch, calling out once as storm clouds gather overhead. Slowking sits by the shore, its shoulder crown gleaming as waves roll against the rocks. Misdreavus floats above the shrine, its ghostly form drifting through the rising mist. Unown hovers in the cavern, its ancient symbol casting faint echoes through the dark. Wobbuffet sways quietly in the shade, its simple expression unchanged as the wind moves around it. Girafarig walks the savannah trail, its tailhead shifting restlessly while the front stays calm. Pinnacle hangs from the branch like any other cone, motionless among the needles. Forretress rests in the cliffside, its armoured shell scraping softly as the plates shift. Dunsparce lies coiled in its burrow, body hidden beneath the soil, except for its watchful head. Gligar clings to the rock face, then glides smoothly to a nearby ledge. Steelix rises from underground, its massive metallic body shedding dirt and stone as it emerges. Snubbull stands on the village path, growling softly despite its nervous stance. Granbull patrols near the stone wall, its heavy steps and clenched jaw giving it a guardian's presence. Quillfish floats in the murky water, inflating slightly as a shadow passes overhead. Sizer moves through the forest clearing, its metallic red armor glinting softly in the sunlight. Shuckle rests against a warm rock, its shell blending naturally into the rugged landscape. Heracross lifts a fallen branch with ease, its deep blue armor and horn perfectly true to its original form. Sneasel steps lightly across the snow, its sharp eyes scanning the frozen ridge. Teddiursa sits beside a log, gently licking honey from its paw in the quiet forest light. Ursaring stands by the riverbank, muscles shifting beneath its thick fur as it watches the water. Slugma crawls across the cooling rock, its molten body glowing with waves of radiant heat. Magcargo rests in the crater, its cracked lava shell pulsing with deep volcanic warmth. Swinub burrows through fresh snow, brushing the ground with its small, furry snout. Piloswine moves across the tundra, its massive coat swaying heavily in the icy wind. Corsola rests in the shallow reef, sunlight shimmering across its pink coral branches. Remoraid glides through open water, its sleek body cutting smoothly through the current. Octillery settles on a rock, its tentacles shifting gently as sand drifts beneath it. Delibird stands on the snowy cliff, its tail pouch swaying softly in the cold wind. Mantine glides above the seabed, its wide wings drifting gracefully through the ocean light. Skarmory lands on a rocky ledge, its metallic wings folding with a sharp, clean snap. Houndour moves through the volcanic valley, its breath rising in faint waves of heat. Houndoom stands atop the rocks, embers glowing behind it as the heat curls through the air. Kingdra hovers in the deep water, its scales glowing softly in the dim blue light. Fampi walks along the riverbank, its small footsteps blending into the gentle forest sounds. Donphan moves with heavy strength across the plain, its armoured body built for endurance. Porygon 2 drifts through the lab corridor, silent and precise, like a living algorithm. Stantler stands in the mist, its antlers catching the fog like something ancient and watchful. Smeargle marks the stone with its paint-tipped tail, leaving quiet traces in its wake. Tyrogue trains with focus, each movement controlled, each breath steady and sharp. Hitmontop spins with perfect balance, its rhythm steady against the hard ground. Smoochum lingers by the frosted glass, humming softly as winter presses in outside. Elekid hops between metal platforms, sparks snapping faintly in the stale air. Magby warms itself on volcanic stone, embers glowing as heat shimmers around it. Miltank grazes calmly in the pasture, the countryside quiet except for wind and breath. Blissey stands quietly in the meadow, its presence calm and reassuring to all around it. Raikou moves across the plateau, lightning tension building with every measured step. Entei remains still upon volcanic rock, its power felt long before it ever moves. Suicune glides along the water's edge, leaving only ripples and drifting mist behind. Larvitar emerges from the stone, its small body already shaped by the earth. Pupitar rests within its hardened shell, energy building silently inside. Tyranitar towers over the canyon, unmoving as the land bends to its presence. Lugia glides above the ocean, its wings controlling wind and waves with ease. Ho-Oh watches from the cliffside, feathers glowing softly in the rising light. Celebi drifts through the forest air, as if time itself pauses to observe. In the silence of nature, these creatures continue to exist, as if Pokémon truly lived in our world.